All right, everyone, welcome back into another props video. It is Tuesday, which means it's Taco Tuesday. Going to be touching on the top prop bets here for prize picks on this Taco Tuesday. Let's go ahead and get into it. So guys, it's nice to be back. I'm probably a normal content schedule here for you guys where I'll be able to do daily props videos. I've been doing a lot of NFL DFS tools and just kind of revamping some tools, getting a lot of traditional sportsbook tools out on the 9-to-5 NFL DFS cheat sheet. I was grinding away at that for, probably the past, 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks. Obviously, there's lots of stuff that goes into it, but I'm excited to get back onto a regular content schedule here for you guys. So looking at it, we do have a tighter board today, and that's just going to be due to the amount of really games that we have in general today. There's just not that much going on. MLB, it's a very small slate. WNBA, there's like one game, maybe two games going on, but we are getting a decent amount of good prop bets. If you guys have been following for the NFL content, basically all of these prop bets that we're getting today that I'm going to call out are still like better on paper than a lot of the NFL DFS prop bets that we've been kind of forced into making on these single game slates, which I would say is a good thing. Now, yesterday, the top two MLB prop bets ended up hitting, which were two of the top prop bets that we had on the board yesterday. So hopefully that happens again, because that's where we're going to be starting out this video. So the first prop bet that we had that's really standing out is going to be Jose Ramirez for over his fantasy score. And we'll just jump into the MLB tab now. And so looking at it, just right off the board, we can kind of see why this one is going to be one that's popping up. So the average sportsbook line would have this at about 9.5. They'd be giving the over about a 53% just there, based off of how the average Vegas line sees this game going. We can see the projection data also really likes Jose Ramirez to have a good game in this game. And even the underdog line is at 8.5 compared to the PrizePicks line. So all in all, we are seeing that this is going to be a good prop bet for us as well. Projected to get right around 4 at bats, averages around 4 at bats. So nothing too crazy there. Then the next best one is going to be Brandon Nemo for over his fantasy score. Not as big of a outlier in terms of some of the data points, but through and through, it's going to be a good edge for us. Now, what I mean by that is with the Jose Ramirez line, we can see the average sportsbook line is at about 9.5, and they're still favoring the over there at 53%. This one is more of a 50-50 at its current Vegas line, which is 8.62. So we can see that the outlier data point here is definitely the PrizePicks line that we are getting. And so through and through, this is going to be a good bet for us as well. He is someone that, obviously we hope he gets 4 hits. But again, just looking at all the data points, we can see that maybe the projection data line is maybe a little bit too high. But also that's rooted in how Vegas sees the game going as well. And given the fact that PrizePicks is too low, we got 2 pretty good MLB bets to start out with. Now, from there, we are getting some other decent MLB prop bets that we can roll with. Suzuki, I think that's how you say his name. I always butcher MLB names. I'm okay with this one. If you guys want to run this one out, I'm going to show you some EV bets that we can make WNBA wise that I'm going to assume will get bumped. There's also going to be some NFL prop bets that I'll show you guys as well that I assume will get bumped as well. It kind of is what it is when that stuff happens, but this would be a good bet to then replace one of those bets that I'll have on the bet of the day, because again, they'll probably get bumped. That's the nice thing about fantasy score prop bets is that they typically aren't prop bets that get bumped throughout the day. That's why I tend to put those in the bet of the day more so than those EV bets that come in and out throughout the day, because I want to help the most people as possible that are watching these videos. And that's a good way to do it. So from there, we are getting some more the projection data doesn't like Francis for over his pitching strikeouts. This one has been bumped up to 6 from 5.5. Not exactly one we need to go out of our way to target. Trey Turner was someone that I had in some stacks yesterday with Bryce Harper for over his fantasy score. We're going to see Bryce Harper is now lower today as well, but I don't mind some of these stacks that you could run out. Bryce Harper, Trey Turner over their hitting fantasy score, but I would only use them in a little bit of a stack there as well. So with that, let's go ahead and jump on into some WNBA prop bets. So guys, looking at the WNBA board, I do want to just take a peek at these EV bets only. So what I'm going to do is I'm basically just going to take off. Well, I'm just going to scroll down from these fantasy score prop bets, but we'll talk about those in a second here. What we're going to notice is that we have Gabby Williams for under 12.5 points. We're going to see that that's a good EV bet for us on this slate. My concern and my assumption is that by the time this video is uploaded, this is going to get bumped down to 12. Kelsey Plum, her assist is going to get bumped up to 4. To where it's being a push. Same thing with Smith, and probably same thing with Natasha Cloud here as well, with their points, rebounds, and assists. So unfortunately, I just that's been PrizePicks and Underdog lately is they're just so fast to bump them up where it gets annoying because they know that that's a long-term edge that we can gain. But I did want to call those out in case those are still available. And then these ones as well, these aren't terrible. Like AEA Boston for over 11.5 rebounds and assists. We can see only about a 53% chance to hit, but still not bad. Same thing with Breonna Stewart for over her points and rebounds. Projection data doesn't exactly like that one. So really the best bets that we're going to have are going to be these fantasy score bets here. And so I think we can look at Lloyd for under her fantasy score, just more of the same. Like we look at how Vegas is seeing this game, more close to 28.85 for her fantasy score. So at 29.5, that's definitely a little bit too high there. The Vegas line is kind of favoring the under there as well. Minutes, around 33, which we don't like that. That's her average minutes, about 34. Projected to get 30 minutes. Obviously, that would help the under fantasy score a little bit more there. So, a decent edge that we are getting there. Looking at from there, we got Jordan Canada for under her fantasy score, which honestly, looking at this, guys, maybe potentially the Vegas line is the one that's off here. The other odds that were being pulled in here, I'm sure this is like DraftKings, FanDuel. Maybe that's it in terms of the average sportsbook odds that we're pulling this average in from. But looking at it, still a decent bet on paper, like 25.5 favoring the under there. The average Vegas line is. Projection day would have it set at 26.3, underdog line at 26. So, nothing crazy there, I would say, but still not bad. And then the last one. So the last one here is going to be Howard for under her fantasy score as well. Just looking at the average Vegas lines, again, it's one where it's about a 50-50 split in terms of her getting the over of 30.5, which at the current PrizePicks line of 33, that still seems to be off a little bit too much. Now, I do wonder if we're going to get more and more WNBA prop bets throughout the playoffs in terms of like Vegas putting them in there because, typically it's a limited sport in terms of how many sportsbook actually offer WNBA lines. Have been seeing that a little bit at lineup lock or around lineup lock for these games, or game lock, I should say. But again, a very, very solid edge that we were getting there. So I would probably recommend going with these EV bets first if they're there, and then defaulting to these WNBA prop bets. So with that, guys, I do want to jump into a little bit of NFL here as well. We are getting some decent lines. Again, these are probably going to be lines that once the public comes in, they're probably going to end up getting bumped down. But I did want to talk about these. So CeeDee Lamb to not score a touchdown is one that is popping up. Going against the Giants, sure, I could see that one happening. That's a good EV bet that we have, projected to get 0.46. So not like a crazy low projection, but at the same time, not terrible. It's a Thursday night game going against the Giants. Typically, those are a little bit more random. For lack of a better term, there's just random stuff that happens, a lot of blowouts. One bet that is currently popping up, I'm kind of surprised by, Jake Ferguson for under his receptions of 4.5. Jake Ferguson is someone that came back from his injury, sat out a weekend, and got the most targets, really was the most productive pass catcher for Dak Prescott, who did struggle last week. So I don't know if that's probably not one I want to bet on. But at the same time, it wouldn't be shocking to see it get bumped down to 4, because we have seen that happen frequently. I will say, though, given the game script here that we have, like the Cowboys are 4.5 point favorites, if that continues, if they are going to be playing with the lead, maybe, right? Like that's a big question mark there with the Cowboys. I wouldn't mind this over rush attempts for Rico Dowdle, who hasn't gotten it recently. A lot of people are not going to like that bet because he has been the starter for the Dallas Cowboys. And I think just each game, he has kind of clearly looked like the best back there. Now, Zeke has not looked bad, don't get me wrong, but they have been mixing in Deuce Vaughn maybe a little bit too much. I think they just kind of need to give Rico Dowdle a healthy workload, at least one game, and just see what happens. Because he has shown that explosiveness, kind of that big play upside, if there is a play to be made, which really hasn't been the case. But again, given the game script, I could see him getting over 8.5 for his rush attempts for this week as well. So with that, guys, that's kind of it for now. Let's go ahead and get into the bet of the day. Or bets, because there's two. All right, so looking at the bet of the day, we will be running out these two, Jose Ramirez and Brandon Nemo. Pretty clearly, those are two of the better prop bets that we have on the board today. I do worry, again, that these bets will be bumped by the time this video is uploaded. So let's go ahead and toss in those fantasy score lines for WNBA instead. And so then these would be the top 5 prop bets that we have. Now, I do want to talk about Taco Tuesday strategy. In the past, prior to really this summer, I told everyone, we get these $25 allotted to us each Taco Tuesday for each taco. Let's just go ahead and bet these 5 times individually. Now, PrizePicks has kind of adjusted their strategy. It's kind of been more random in terms of how much they put on a certain taco. Typically, it's been like $5 to $10 lately. So With that, I probably would just end up running a 6-slip bet instead. But if you have $25 allowed to, I don't mind betting these 5 times individually. And the reason you do that is just you're going to be building your bankroll up when you take advantage of these kind of discounts that are available each and every day. And so, or the promos that are out there, every single week, like Taco Tuesday. So if that is available for you guys, do that. If not, if you guys only have $5 or $10 available for that taco, I would just suggest doing a 6-slip bet. Eventually, over time, they'll hit. It's not like, obviously, it's a 5-6-slip bet. The odds for it to hit are not that great. Eventually, one of them will hit, especially when we attack it accordingly like this. All right, guys, that's going to be all for today's video. Appreciate you being here. If you guys want access to any of the tools that you saw in this video, head on over to 9to5sports.com and get access to the PrizePicks and Underdog cheat sheet for just $10 a month. Much more included in there as well. I'm always trying to add in more and more stuff to that membership without raising the price. All right, thanks for watching. Good luck, and as always, let's keep cashing.